Today we're going to talk about 4 tips to lose the menopause belly fat. And I know it's earlier in the morning than my typical lives, but we're going to make this super quick because it's a Monday. And I wanted to share with you guys 4 things that I have found that have been very, 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 very beneficial for so many of my patients. So first of all, just real quickly, I totally understand that it can be extremely frustrating because I am going through this whole menopausal chaos myself, and things have certainly changed. I can't eat the way I did 10 years ago. So why is this happening, right? So let's just give a little brief description of that. I did a little bit deeper dive into that yesterday. So if you check out that video, that'll go into a little bit deeper dive around the 5 reasons why you gain weight in menopause. But typically think about this. We're losing estrogen, right? That's our friend. You get these hormonal fluctuations around this perimenopause, menopause timeframe. So that can lead to a few different things. One is increased fat storage, especially around the abdominal area, the visceral fat area, which is really frustrating. Additionally, you lose muscle mass, right? There are some things that happen as we slow down that metabolism. And along with this particular type of fat storage and loss of muscle, we become insulin resistant. And so there's a few things that you need to highlight in your diet to really shift things around, in one activity in particular that I'd like you to consider doing. And first of all, let me talk a little bit about the role of insulin resistance, right? So remember, insulin resistance actually is when the cells become less responsive to insulin, which is the hormone responsible for moving glucose from the bloodstream into the cells so it can be utilized for energy. Well, that happens because of this particular type of fat gets stored in places like muscle and liver where it's not supposed to. Also, our adipose tissue underneath the skin, where fat is typically stored, also becomes insulin resistant, and that shifts that storage from underneath the skin to more of that visceral belly fat. So how do we fix this? Well, there's 4 things I want you to do. 3 are in the diet and 1 is an activity level. Number 1 is really prioritize the lower glycemic foods, right? These are going to be ones that will bump your blood sugars the least. It'll decrease that insulin spiking that you're getting. It'll also help you become more insulin sensitive over time. So you want to remove the foods that are causing it. These are going to be more animal-based products, high saturated fats, ultra-processed foods, sugars, floury products. Those are the foods that exacerbate it. And then you want to start bringing in foods that will help accelerate your insulin sensitivity recovery, basically, of your insulin sensitivity. So basically, these are going to be things that are dark green leafy vegetables, non-starchy vegetables, legumes, whole grains, and certain fruits like apples, berries, things like that. Next, you want to focus on the higher plant protein foods. And again, these will also bring in more energy. They're more satiating. They're amazingly high in fiber. So these are going to be legumes and whole grains. I want you to avoid those foods that are processed grains, right? So the flour products, things like that. If you do want to eat something like a bread, make it a sprouted grain bread, like Ezekiel bread would be a better choice. You can also include things like tofu, tempeh. There's so many good things that come with tofu, including the phytoestrogens that are actually very beneficial to you when you look at the research. And you also see high amounts of protein in healthy fats, helps lower cholesterol. It's another thing that comes with menopause and with this insulin resistance and the weight gain. It all winds up together and just makes a lovely, lovely transition away from having periods every month to not having periods, but apparently there's a price to pay for a lot of women. Anyway, I get off sidetracked. Moving on. So the protein will also fuel the activity I'm about to speak to here in a minute. Next, I really want you to focus on that whole food plant-based diet. So it's a lower glycemic whole food plant-based diet. A whole food plant-based diet is already a lower glycemic diet, but I really want you to focus in on those non-starchy vegetables, the beans, legumes, whole grains, the soy products. That is where you can get the biggest bang for your buck, calorie, whatever you like. And that is where I've seen tremendous changes happen with my patients. And again, I know it seems like a lot. You're like, where do I even begin? Well, the last thing before I tell you where I can help you is incorporate resistance training. And there's a whole host of things you can do there. That in and of itself could be a longer discussion. Tons of videos available, but try to get as much resistance training as you can within reason and progression. Right? And you really want to make sure that the type of resistance training you're doing is using large muscles, that you're doing it at least 2 or 3 times a week, and building for progression, staying consistent in a particular program for about 12 weeks, right? It's that, oh, I did a little bit of this, I did a little bit of that. You're not going to get anywhere, right? You may just feel like spinning your wheels, so to speak. You want to be doing a progression over 12 weeks, and you can shift that, right? You want to build upon what you're doing. Think of it as a foundation, and you keep building, right? Then you finish that building and you move on to the next, and you can start again on a different set of muscles or exercises. So that's just a quick highlight there. So what are those 4 things again? Prioritize lower glycemic foods, focus on high protein plant foods, whole food plant-based diet, and really work on that resistance training. Again, these are the 4 biggest levers you can move to help you lose and maintain the weight loss during menopause. And so if you'd like to learn more about this and how my framework can help you, and I've helped so many people and helped myself, check it out. I have a free masterclass. It's the 5 steps to master your metabolism and lose weight. I also speak to the 4 biggest mistakes people they make on their weight loss journey. I have helped thousands of patients, spoken to many, many, many people who've lost. One of my patients has lost 350 pounds, to the patient who is just wanting to maybe lose 5 to 10, and they're just stuck. They can't seem to get things to shift. So you just need to understand your own physiology and make your own plan. And that's literally what my steps do. They help you understand your labs. They help you understand what you need to know, right? You don't get overwhelmed with too much information. You get hone in on what is really important for you. And then we move on to personalizing it for you, because not everybody can do the exact same type of diet. I've had patients say, oh, I've done, this starchy based diet and I gained weight, or, I had someone else say, I followed this guru and they did this and I felt worse. So there's so many things you need to understand, is that you can personalize this approach for yourself. And that is really, really important. And that's why people come to me, because they're like, I don't know what else to do. Can you help me? And we look at you as a whole person, right? We also utilize technology if you want. We talk about a CGM. And again, personalization. And then how do you do this in action, right? Like, what are the next steps and how do you build those habits? I talk all about that in my masterclass. I did beta groups, worked really hard to create a system and a community that you can engage with others and myself to help you along your journey. And so great. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. And please check out the free masterclass below. If it's not for you, please feel free to share it with someone. Maybe a sister, a mother, a grandmother, an aunt, somebody that may be struggling with this menopause. It is no joke, guys. I mean, like I said, I'll be 54 this year, and I've done so many of the things I'm telling my patients to do, exercising, and all these things. I have my own journey I'll be diving deeper into as we go along and do more videos. But I feel so much better now, and I will share my story and what I did to feel better during this menopausal, perimenopausal transition myself, from someone who knows what's going on and knows what to do and still struggled, but I figured it out. So hope you see you there. Thank you as always, for spending time with me. I'm so grateful for you. I'm sending you love, joy, peace, and healing among all things, above all else. And may you have a blessed day, everybody. We'll see you next time.